Good evening, viewers. Hopefully that's a little bit better on the webcam. I restarted the stream. I don't know if that did anything. Anyways, tonight we're going to be continuing on with live streaming development of No Place Like, the open source JavaScript platformer, shooter, adventure masterpiece that we're working on as a community. And today we're going to be looking at debugging and implementing the mobile aim and shoot controls. We've already got aim and shoot working for mouse and keyboard, and now we're looking to port those controls over to a touchscreen experience as well. And I'm very delighted to say that roughly 2 minutes before this stream started, I managed to get the Chrome debugging tools working on my phone once again. What do you know? Anyways, yeah, so without any further ado, let's move on and get to it. So what you're looking at now is indeed my screen. However, it is the screen on my phone. How cool is that? Anyways, Discord doesn't need to be open, and it's not. Look at that. So first things first is I noticed on the live production version there's currently a bug since we've changed the character to the MC Africa Fight class, aka our shooter aim and shoot version of this character. When we move left and right now, he kind of does a jump, so I'm assuming that there's an error that's popping up when we're moving, and yeah, it kind of does like a teleport like that. And you can't jump at all anymore either. You just sort of, the longer you hold it, the further you go. And if you just touch it a little bit, he goes a little bit, but he also doesn't turn or anything like that. And right there, right away, we can see uncaught type error, set flip X is not a function. So that's good. That lets us know right away that there's something up. I'm just gonna decrank that music a little bit for myself. I think it should be the same volume for you guys. Anyways, so and that's because that this dot set flip X doesn't exist anymore, and to get around that we had to, in our keyboard and mouse controls, we had to iterate over all of the objects within our container class, which is what we're extending with this new character instead of extending sprite. And because we're not extending sprite, we don't have access to set flip X, but we do have access to set flip X of all the children in our list property, which is the same as just everything inside. It's everything inside your container is what the list property is. So first things first, we just need to quickly replace this dot flip X with that code to flip all the child properties. And we could probably abstract this into a function. Actually, why don't we do that now? Let's stop being lazy and let's do good coding. So let's see here. Got our constructor, and then after our constructor we'll say, let's say set flip X is a function. We'll call that flip, and we'll pass in our code that we've been using, and it should actually work in the exact same context. And now we actually should be able to call this dot set flip X. So we can replace this with this dot set flip X true, and then this dot set flip X false, and then this dot set flip X same thing, except I think this was supposed to be false, or no, that one would be true. Yeah, true. And then this one is going to be false. This is the one I didn't change. But anyways, changed it now. And that should, in theory, give us a working flipping character. So, time to figure it out. Let's see. Kinda. He... That's funny. He sort of, he does flip, but he automatically turns back, for one thing, which is kind of funny. But, okay, cool, we can still jump. Although, he does turn back automatically. And he does look really funny with his arm just auto, like, hanging out like this. Ready? Anyways, okay, but that's all stuff we can fix. So let's fix first that auto flip back thing. When we walk right and he flips right, and then we release, he flips back to left. So let's dig into that a little bit. So that'll be something simple for sure. Maybe it won't be something so simple. Okay, well, let's throw a few console logs in here just to see what conditions we're entering and when. Touch left side. Console.log. Touch right side. Now let's have a look. Okay, so touch. So it's not re-entering that condition. It must be resetting it somewhere else. Oh, you know what? This could be a conflict between the keyboard and mouse controls again. I could see that being a thing. Aha, yes. I bet you it's because it's automatically... So we almost have to detect if there are pointers. Let's... Okay, let's see what pointer 1 looks like from the beginning of time. Because if it's ever undefined on the desktop experience, then we could use that. Let's see. So it's always defined on mobile, which is kind of good. That's what we're hoping for. So now, let's test that same thing, but let's test it on desktop. And indeed, it looks like it's always... Oh, okay, but hang on. We've got some properties we can investigate. So active is false on desktop. Okay, active is false on here too. Was touch false? Okay, that's annoying. Okay, let's have a look at the mouse pointer instead of the pointer 1. Because if mouse pointer is undefined or has some property set to false on the touchscreen experience, we can tap into that. So mouse pointer active is true, apparently, on this one, which is the desktop experience. So if that is false on the mobile experience, then we can tap into that and make use of it. So let's have a look. Active is true on the desktop, on the mobile as well? Seriously? 137? Oh, hold on. That might not be... Oh, wait, no, that's just our transpiled version. That's the reason that's 137. Yeah, it's mouse pointer. Shite. I'm just going to look up phaser 3 detect touchscreen. You know what? I've just got an idea of something we can do. Hey JL, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. We got mouse or phone debugging working, so we can go like this now, and you guys can see what's on my phone, and we can try and figure out what's going on with all this stuff. I just had a thought of how we can just create our own Boolean to track whether the last what am I thinking of? The last pointer event was either a touch event or a mouse event. So we can say this dot last pointer touch, for example, equals, let's say, false. We'll initialize it to false, and then not that far down. Let's see. In mouse pointer dot down, we'll set this dot mouse. No, not mouse pointer. What do we call it? Last pointer touch equals false. So that's when the mouse pointer is down. And then touching ground and pointer 1 is down. Or you know what? Why don't we just give it its own little condition right at the start here? We'll say if pointer 1 dot is down, this dot last pointer touch equals true, and we'll say else if mouse pointer dot is down, this dot last pointer touch equals false. That should, in theory, keep track of that information for us. We'll just log it out and see how it looks. So it's probably going to default to false, or it is false in this case because we're on the desktop controls. Now let's head over to the touchscreen controls, and it's defaulting to false, but the minute we touch the screen, now it's true. There we go. Still looks kind of funny, hey? Believe it or not, it's actually like really laggy on this screen that you guys are seeing. That screen. but on my phone it's actually really performing pretty well. I am lucky enough to have a decent phone though, so I know that helps. So it's a little outdated now, but it's Pixel 2 phone is what I'm rocking. Anywho, so now we get to check.
Here's a matching video.
What the hell? Oh, that was funny. It apparently matched a video with something I said. Creepy. Not weird at all. Anyways, this dot pointer. Okay. So we'll wrap this entire thing in a if this dot last pointer touch, and actually we're going to check if that's not true. So if last pointer touch is false, that means the last pointer was a mouse event, and it's fine to check for all of these mouse event things. In fact, maybe we'll move the aim and shoot logic to be below all of the controller logic. So we'll have the movement logic and the jumping logic for both computer controls and touch controls. And then, yeah, between, because we've got our sort of friction, our pseudo friction logic after that, but between our pseudo friction logic and our touch controls, we'll add our aim and shoot logic. So, because that way we can say if last pointer touch, we can actually do it like this. We'll say if last pointer touch, handle touch point and shoot controls, and else, then we'll handle desktop point and shoot controls. All right. So in theory, this is going to stop it from automatically rotating back now. It should, when we move right and stop moving right, he should continue to face right without automatically flipping back. There we go. See? We're good. Now we just got to fix up his arm so it doesn't look so wacky. Anyways, that's good. That's a little bit of progress already. And I'm also going to cut out those console logs because we don't really need those anymore. That was just us debugging stuff before. And we have successfully debugged it. Debagged it? Not debagged it. Debugged it. Anyways, let's see here. So, I guess first things first is maybe we could initialize his rotation of his arm to be... You know what? I think we should abstract this a little bit further into some functions that we can reuse. So, I'm thinking this would make sense to go into a this dot point gun, or this dot aim, maybe this dot aim, and negative radians. This dot aim, negative radians, because we're going to be reusing this functionality quite a lot. So just like we made our set flip x function, we're going to make a new function called aim, which is going to take in radians, and it's going to rotate these things according to their offsets and the negative radians. Or we're specifying negative, so we can just say radians there, and then those will be negative when we pass them in negative. So we'll just save and confirm that that works on desktop actually this time. Yep, so we still have aiming working on on desktop. Our offset for the bullets is a little wacky on that side now. That's okay, we can fix that up later. There's undoubtedly going to be a little bit of carnage as we're porting things over, but as long as nothing huge breaks, we should be fine to just continue and then fix it up a little bit later. Oh! Ew, it could be because we're not setting the... Yeah, we could set the angle of the bullet emitter in the function too, actually. That would make sense. In fact, I think I am going to just make it so you pass radians in as a positive, and then it'll be switched to negative within the function. Because in other places, such as setting the angle for our bullet emitter, radians is positive in that section here, even though it is technically within a negative thingamajig. Maybe this will fix it right away. Nope, sure didn't. That's okay. In fact, it even might have made it worse. But whatever, we'll figure that out. We'll fix that later. Point is, he's still shooting and aiming, and just the bullets aren't really coming out of the right place. But the bullets weren't really coming out of the right place to begin with, so sometimes they were coming kind of out of the side of the gun, and yeah, there's a better way we can do that, and we will implement that later. So we might as well just hold off until we implement that for now. The better way of emitting bullets directly from the end of the gun instead of sort of from the middle of his shoulder and then having the bullets go through his arm and out the gun. That's what's happening right now, but what we want is the bullets to just come right out the tip of the gun. Anyways, let's see. So handle, yeah, right. So before we do any of that, in our constructor, I wonder, can we define these before the constructor? I think so. I don't know if it actually matters. Function hoisting might help us out here, but just a weird bit of JavaScript weirdness, but can be kind of helpful sometimes. And then we'll just say init aim, and we'll say this.aim, and we'll say math.pi, because math.pi is what, 100 and is math.pi 180 degrees, like pi radians? Is that 180 degrees? I can't remember. If it's only 90, then we could actually divide it by 2. Wait, actually I shouldn't have moved the mouse at all. That would have told me exactly what it was. Okay, so that's actually not a bad angle for what we're going for. Let's take a look at on mobile as well. Yeah, he's pointing up a little bit, but... Oh wait, hold on, no. That's still gonna give us the same thing as before, I think. Let's just reload it and make sure we're actually seeing the same thing here. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, that's still got that kind of funky road. Whoa, that was weird. Huh. I just put a second finger down and it sort of jumped a little bit randomly there. I wasn't expecting that. But anyways, yeah, we gotta fix that arm so it's not just kind of like flapping in the wind. Or you know what? Instead of setting this in the constructor, initializing that in the constructor, why don't we have it so, yeah, in here we'll say, so if last pointer touch, we'll just set it right in here. We'll just say this dot aim math dot pi divided by 2 for the amount of radians that we're passing in. Hopefully that'll make sense. And save that. We'll have a look here. I'll make sure you guys can see it too. Oh, haha. Okay, so interesting. I think we need actually to have this in our. Yeah, I know what we're gonna do here. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna add this logic, same as what we had for in our touch controls or in our controls, but in our touch controls when we. Ooh, better yet, not even in our touch controls. Oh, wait. Yes, it is actually going to have to be in our touch controls because we're not going to want this in every case. We might actually have to change this later, but for now, we're going to say when he's facing left, set his aim to, or when he turns left, set his aim to math dot, or pi radians, pi over 2 radians, and then when he's, we'll say pi what times 2? Would that be the other way around? I'm really not a math savvy person. You guys should know this by now. Ooh, come on, that load time. Okay, so not quite. He's kind of facing straight up, but so maybe what if we just do negative math.pi over 2? That makes a little bit more sense in my not so mathematically inclined brain. And look at that, it works. Boom. Now, depending on which way you go, he flips his gun and points it in the way that you would expect. We are going to adjust that because when you have 2 pointers down, we're going to want to create an angle between your thumbs and... Oh, you can't see the pointers on the screen. That's a bummer. But we're going to try and create an angle between the 2 thumbs being placed down and make it so that he starts shooting in that angle. Or aims in that angle and starts shooting, rather. So I guess let's just get at that right now. In fact, we probably wouldn't even need to have these aim functions in here. Yeah, you know what? Let's just get rid of these altogether because that's probably just going to like hinder us down the road. So first thing we want to do is we want to check if pointer1.x greater than sprite center x, same as we did with the mouse pointer. And we'll say this dot aim, or no, we don't know the radians yet, so we need to figure that out. But or maybe, hang on a second, let's get console log something here. Pointer1 dot active, pointer2 dot active. We're finally using pointer 2, our second finger. Very exciting. So this should come up false to begin with, is what I'm expecting to happen. Or not at all. Hey, look at that. Yeah, it does work. Cool. So we can tap into that property, and that'll work quite nicely for us. So first of all, we'll say const both pointers down equals, or, oh yeah, we could have just used is down actually. That makes more sense. Why don't we just do that? We'll say equals pointer1 dot is down and pointer2 dot is down. And then we're kind of just making that variable for a little bit of extra verbosity, but we'll say if both pointers down, then we can calculate the angle between them. Or actually, why don't we do this after? Yes. Because we'll keep this logic, but we'll say this dot set flip x true if pointer 1 is less than the sprite center x, which means if it's on the left side of the center x, we'll flip him left. Otherwise, we'll say this dot set flip x false, which will flip him right. And that means we can also take out that logic that's handling that. That's computer controls. We can take that out from here. So we no longer need that to happen when we're touching the left and right edges. It'll happen depending on where pointer 1 is in relation to the sprite. So let's just test that out. So I know it's kind of a bummer you can't see where my fingers are on the screen. I was hoping you could see that, but apparently DevTools isn't quite there yet. But yeah, it works. So if I hold my mouse, my pointer, my thumb on the right side of him, he faces right, left, left. And if you go right to the edge of the screen, he'll move. But if you're sort of in the center of the screen, it'll just stay relatively, he'll stay still and he'll face the way you want. Cool. So now we're just going to add in that logic to default his arms to a certain position. So we'll say, oops, not there. We want this dot aim, and we'll default it to math.pi divided by 2 for the left side. And for the right side, we'll say this dot aim negative math.pi divided by 2, which will be the other way, as we figured out already. Cool. So now let's have a look. And when we face left and right with our single pointer, there, he centers his gun more or less. Cool. So now the game's actually back to a playable state with, you know what, I didn't even check what branch I was on before I started all this work. I just realized that, but that's okay, we can cross that bridge later. I think we might still be on that branch we made to create this little bouncing enemy dude. Anywho, with that done, we can now move on to calculating the angle between the 2 pointers, which will occur when they're both down, and we'll override this aim function by calling it again. Or not override the function, rather, but override the rotation of all our junk by calling it again. So if both pointers are down, we need to calculate in the same way that we calculated. Actually, we can move that logic into the mouse controls only, which would be roughly there. And then now this is actually going to be a little easier than I thought. So if both pointers are down, both touch pointers, instead of checking the sprite center X and the excuse me, the pointer 1 no, not pointer 1, the mouse pointer X, we're just going to swap these out, and we're going to say this dot or not even this dot, we're just going to say pointer1 dot x minus pointer2 dot x. And then we'll do the same thing with the y to get the delta y. Thanks, JL. Yeah, we are. We're doing it pretty hot tonight. Pointer1 dot x, or y rather. Pointer2 dot y. So now that we have that should give us the angle between both of our thumbs when both of them are on the screen. And then it will just be as simple as saying this dot aim and pass in the radians. In theory this will work. I mean, I've said that before and I've been wrong. I'm gonna hazard a guess at like 75% of the time, but you never know. Miracles happen, so let's give it a try. See if we can aim with our brand new touchscreen controls. Oh, too cool. It works kind of, sort of, in a way-ish. It's sort of janky, and he's sort of aiming backwards in every single case, but if I want to aim at the ground, I go like that. If I want to aim up, I go like that. Aim to the left side, I go like that. Or I can actually go like that. I wonder if it's just a matter of... So he does... interesting. Maybe we should use pointer 2 if it's down. Okay, so we're gonna change our logic up a little bit here. So we're actually gonna wrap this if both pointers down in... We're gonna wrap all of this logic in there. And... or actually not quite. We're going to say if both pointers down, and we're going to have a similar logic there, but we're also going to have the original logic in an else statement. And the reason we're doing this is so that we can go to reference pointer 2 in the event that we want to... Oh, hold on. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Because if so, basically what I'm trying to do is make it so that if both fingers are down, both thumbs are down, it'll reference to the it'll flip the character based on the second thumb that's pressed down, which would be the one that you're kind of aiming with. Whereas if you're just have a single pointer down, it'll obviously just use the one pointer to reference which way you should be flipping. So let's try this, see if this works. I'm so happy I got these debug tools working. Sometimes getting the Chrome debugging tools is just a nightmare, getting them to work. Oh, that is too perfect. That works very well. I'm very happy with that. Kinda. It's weird. The whole like pointer 1 versus pointer 2 thing is really hard to like get used to at times. So like it's not so much that it's your left or your right thumb, it's the order that they touch the screen in. So I can push right first and then aim with my left thumb, or I can touch with my left thumb first and aim with my right thumb. But in any case, I can... Whoa, and apparently I can jump backwards. Oh, that's funny. You can still... Well, I guess that actually makes sense. Because we want to be able to... Let's see. Let's take this out for a spin and see if we can... Oh, hold on. That's... That is kind of clunky. Okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's working. Sort of. So we can run backwards and shoot. That's interesting. So what if we... Oh, that's but we can't run forwards and shoot. That's kind of a problem. Oh, that's probably because we're checking for pointer 1. If pointer 1 is touching the edges of the screen, not pointer 2. Yeah, that's what that is. Because if I move my finger way over to the left side while holding both down, I can, yeah. This is a very interesting problem to work with, or problems, plural, I guess, but I'm almost wondering now if instead of setting the aim to be straight in the middle when we come back, when we release our aim, if we should just hold it in position. I think that would be a little bit better. So to do that, we're going to need to persist our aim somewhere, this radian value that we're calculating between the 2 pointers. And I guess we can do that just by saying this dot pointer rad, or maybe touch radian would make a little bit more verbose. So touch radians is that. We set the aim to touch radians, and we'll do the same. Actually, that's it. We don't. Or you know what? We don't even have to do that. I'm making it more complicated than it has to be. We just don't need to set these ever now. This could still result in like weird scenarios. Damn, already try your game on the phone. And how long you did coding? Oh, X-Killer Knight. Thanks. I've been coding like a while now, I guess. Like since I was kind of youngish, like 11 or 12 or something I started, and I'm 25 now, so it's been a while. But I started with Flash games and ActionScript 2. So let's see here. So now when we aim, he should keep that aim value no matter what way he's... Oh, interesting. So... Okay, you know what? I do have an idea of something that's going to make this a little bit better. So we can keep the aim value, but we can flip it. That's what we're going to do. So we do need to persist that after all. We're going to say this dot touch radians is equal to that. This dot touch radians. And now, when both pointers are down, he's just going to be aiming at the angle between the 2 pointers, like we already have it, sorry. But when we're just have 1 pointer down, he's now going to aim at, this might cause unexpected things to happen, but for now, we'll just try it. Negative touch radians for when we flip him. So, or yeah, I guess. I don't know. This might get out of sync, I have a feeling, but we'll give it a try. So this dot touch radians equals, let's just start it at math.pi divided by 2. So that should be kind of facing the left side, if in my mind. So let's see here. Good enough. Okay, so that's something. So now if we aim up, hey, look at that, that's not bad. And what if we aim on the other side? So we aim like that. That doesn't work still. It does, but it flips it the wrong way. Interesting. That's not quite what we want, is it? Huh. It's almost like we need to track which side he started on, like which side he was facing when he was aiming, and then flip based on that. I don't know. But still, you can aim, and it works. The touch controls are buggy, but I have half a mind just to put them online right now so you guys can start playing with them if you feel so inclined. Because I'd love some feedback on them, to be honest. It would be great to know how they actually feel for you guys, the players, the end users, because it's all about you guys and if you like these controls or not. Because if you don't like them, then it doesn't make sense to continue working on them like this. I should find a different way. But I actually think they're pretty solid. And oh right, I just need to fix up one other thing. Okay, so we need to, okay, let's just break down. There's a few things we need to fix now. Like, for starters, he shouldn't be able to run around with his arm facing totally backwards like this. This is kind of wacky, but maybe, there we go. Yeah, okay, so that it works when we face him, when we start him, like when we, okay, so if we turn right, aim left, set our angle, release, then his arm actually turns and makes sense when he turns. When we start by aiming left, or facing left, and then aiming right, if we face up, that's when all hell breaks loose and his arm flips around and just looks all crazy. But anyway, still, it's so if we aim it like that, now it works. So that's a good clue for how we can debug that. But anyways, that's one problem, is we've got this kind of weird bug with our aim persistence, or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, but it does generally work. Like if you aim it up this way and then turn, he'll keep aiming up. So we've got to add the bullets, we've got to fix this arm flipping around bug, and we need to make it so that the second pointer overrides the first pointer when how are we going to do this? Because right at the moment, if we're holding on the left side of the screen to move left, and we push on the right side of the screen at the same time with the right pointer, it doesn't work. But even if we move our left pointer off of the left side of the screen, basically if you touch either side of the screen with the second pointer, it doesn't respond, he won't move. Because that's just because we're only checking for pointer 1 to get our movement logic working. So we need to somehow check for pointer 2 in certain circumstances as well. So that means, I think, what we're going to have to do in our update function, we're going to have to move this constant, this both pointers down constant, up. We're going to move this way up, right to the top. Excuse me. And now that that's at the top, now that that's at the top, we'll be able to access that in various places throughout our code here. So our movement logic is here. So we can say pointer 1 is down, because pointer 1 always has to be down for pointer 2 to be down. Because again, it's not the left and right pointers, it's the first finger to touch the screen, and then the second finger, and the third, and so on and so forth. Because it's impossible to know which hand they actually touch the screen first with, right? Like, if just because you touched on the left side of the screen doesn't mean you're using your left hand. You can do that with your right hand. So it is a little confusing to begin with, to work with at the start, but once you kind of wrap your head around it, the pointer logic actually makes a lot of sense. So what I'm thinking is maybe in here, what we could do is just add like an OR statement and say the same condition but with pointer 2 dot position dot x greater than equal to edge width, or less than equal to, sorry. This might work. Give this a try. Or pointer 2 dot position dot x greater than equal to window dot inner width minus edge width. And that edge width is just how we configure how much space, like how much space we have to touch on the edges of the screen. Ooh, okay, that's not quite working now, is it? Oh, it is working now. That's funny. Wasn't working for a second there. Yeah, I think that logic is no good. That's not gonna help us out here. All right, let's start that back. Let's redo that. So just undo. Okay, so why don't we make secondary constants, and we'll just call them, they'll be the exact same, but they'll be checking pointer 2 instead of pointer 1. And then we can say P1 touching right edge, P1 touching left edge. Oops, that's not what we want. That should be P2, and this should be P1 touching left edge, P1, and then this one will be P2. So now we've got pointer 1 touching left and right edge, as well as pointer 2 touching left and right edge. And now that we've got pointer 1 and pointer 2 touching left and right edges, we can be a little bit more verbose in our conditions here. So we can say if touching left edge, or that doesn't exist anymore, so we'll say if P1 touching left edge, excuse me, but I guess we are going to need to decide which ones override the others, right? Because at some point or another, we're going to need to know which pointer takes precedence when both of them are down. So would that be pointer 2? I suppose, because I don't know. This is one of those tricky logical questions that you have to ask yourself. You're making a game sometimes. I think the idea is that you'll never be whoa, that's broken. Something's broken. Oh man. Now when we touch the either edge, we go left. Oh no. That's not right. Anyways, okay, so let's back it up a set. Let's go back a step here. Oh, that's because our conditions are all messed up here. So I think pointer 1 is always going to be responsible for touching the edge. So we can actually take out all this logic that we just added, backstep there. So pointer 1 is always going to be responsible for moving the character. So the first thumb that they press on the screen is responsible for the movement. Let me just test this and see if it makes sense on screen like it does in my mind, because often there's a disconnect. So yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Pointer 1 is going to be responsible for both the direction we move by way of which edge we're touching, as well as pointer 1 is going to be responsible for our flips. So we can actually get rid of this completely, and we're actually going to sort of fix up our logic almost like we had it initially, actually. But so now if pointer 1 is like that, and if both pointers are down, then we aim at the touch radians. Yeah, let's try this and see what happens. Okay, good so far. Okay, looking a little wacky. Okay, so actually it's almost what I'm thinking, but his arm is just aiming backwards, kind of. It's just, yeah, we shouldn't be passing in, those values shouldn't be negative that are being, or we could just pass in a negative radian value and it should solve it. Yeah, okay, so once there's actually something that's playable, I start just playing the game a lot instead of actually, like, working on it. It's a bad habit of mine, but anyway, so it's almost like we just have to say equals negative that. Not 100% sure if this is the way to go, but I'm sure it'll do something. And we get to see what that something is. Ooh, close. Except, no, funny, I jumped by accident. Actually, that's not half bad now that I'm running around and trying it. So hold on, if I want to run left and point up, I have to hold the left side of the screen but hold it a little bit higher, and then use my second thumb to press behind the character. Okay, no, now that went right down. I was expecting that to go right up. Okay, interesting. This is almost feeling like it could now be like a player control, like us upsetting rather. No, I think I like the other way better, so Okay, let's see here. So, oh shoot, that was Discord that I just opened. Not what I wanted to do. Although actually I did upgrade my computer, so I now have 8 gigs of RAM, and there's a chance that I can run more stuff on a live stream and not have it lag out really hard. Anyways, negative that was not really the answer. It was close, but it wasn't quite. So what if we cut that in half? Because hang on, let's just see the problem one more time as it was just in its default mode. Or actually, maybe we could flip around the order that we're subtracting the X positions from for our pointers, and that might do the trick. Yeah, so it's like a full 180 degrees off, basically. But it's almost playable. I mean, like, in the sense that you can aim with his shoulder, not with his gun, but we'll get it to aim with his shoulder and I mean his gun in just a second. So yeah, what if we try pointer? This might make no difference at all, but again, I'm not a math genius by any stretch of the imagination. Quite the opposite. So I am stumped by basic trigonometry, but no matter. Hey, that actually, I think, whoa, did the trick, kinda, except I jumped again, but maybe if both pointers are down, you should do like a double swoop up to jump. Because it's kind of, sometimes you forget which, I guess you don't really forget, because it's the direction you're going, right? So, yeah, actually, you know what? I think part of this is like making the right controls, and part of this is also just understanding the controls that I've made, or in like getting used to them. So let's see. See if we can aim and jump up here at the same time. Oh, whoops. Anyways, still, he is aiming at in the way I was expecting now. So for you guys viewing, I'm gonna put this online right now, and if you give it a couple minutes to build, if you're on a touchscreen device, I would love it if you could check it out and tell me your thoughts on the feel of the touchscreen controls, and give it a few tries, give it like a little while for the controls to really sink in, because they are kind of unique and a little bit funky. I've never seen them before, so I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna put them online now because there are no bugs, and this seems like a good state to do so. But I'm probably on the wrong branch, so oh, I'm on master. Okay, cool. I probably should be on, let's just do a status, untracked files, game, oh right, because I renamed my index to game.js, but that's fine. Okay, yeah, just we'll check out Angular aim and shoot branch, and Angular aim and shoot, and okay. Make sure there's no updates that are on the remote that I don't have. Excuse me again. And we'll go get let's do a diff first just to make sure I'm not committing anything wacky. That all looks fine in package.json just because I changed the name, the entry point to game.js instead of sort or index or whatever it was before. Yeah, index I think is the default for Webpack 4. Now in index we just deleted, and in our container we've added a few new functions. Pointer down, both pointers down. And then this is, what are we doing here? We're adjusting, we're moving our, yeah, right, we moved our aim logic right down to the bottom here, and we added all our new stuff, and yeah, that looks good to me. So we'll go get status, get add all, get commit, -m, number 6, adds multi-touch aim system, or aim mechanics, let's say that, mechanics, adds multi-touch aim mechanics, cool. Push origin Kirk -6 angular aim and shoot. All right, cool. Okay, cool. So now let's just head on over to GitHub and make sure all that made it where it needs to go, which I'm sure it did. And there's our branch, updated less than a minute ago. And I think we're gonna have to create a pull request and merge that bad boy in. Number 6 adds multi-touch aim mechanics. And yeah, we don't need anything else other than that. Assign to myself. Yep, create pull request, cool. Just give that a minute to do its automated checks here. And then once those are all done, it has no conflicts, so we'll just merge it in directly via GitHub. I think I had my camera a little bit more bad last time. In progress, in progress, in progress. Okay, well, while those checks are running, I'm just going to grab a drink of water. I'll be right back. Alright, how'd they do? Completed in 45 seconds, successful, completed. Alright, good. They all passed anyways. No failures. So, let's go right ahead, merge that into master, confirm merge. Successfully merged and closed. So we can probably... Actually, let's keep the branch for now, because we're going to keep working on it. So, yeah. Just check that that made it into master. Merge pull request 26 from Angular aim and shoot, and there it is. Number 6 adds multi-touch aim mechanics. And also renames it to game.js, but whatever. Minor detail. Cool. So, you guys, if that all went through okay, give it a minute or two, and you should be able to test that right there. That link in the chat will take you to the live demo, and in maybe just a couple minutes or so, the build process should automatically run through, and we should have updated aim and shoot logic for touchscreens on there. Or just aim logic, minus the shooting, but we're going to add the shooting right now. Okay, so let's see. So for shooting, that's this logic here. The pointer dot is down. So actually, it would just be as simple as basically copying this, but instead of mouse pointer, we're gonna have it inside of the touch pointer. Inside of the touch, the last pointer touch condition, where it's the, or actually it would just be if both pointers are down, then it starts shooting. And yeah, actually, so basically we can just go like this and say like that, and say else this dot bullet emitter dot stop. Now, so in theory, that should give us a working. Oop. Oh, I gotta boot up the server again. My bad. My B. Okay, give that a minute. And I don't want it in this browser, I want it on my phone. Alright, here we go. Boom, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. Kind of comes out of his face. I wonder if we should try and attempt to do that in this stream. So we are doing pretty good for time. I think it would make sense to try and address that issue of the bullets coming out of his shoulder instead of his gun. Yeah, I mean, that is the controls as I was imagining them. I just can't tell if I like it or not. Ah, there's our robot. Okay. Yeah. So that was easy. Now we've got shooting as well. But yeah, shooting, but maybe we should have tried and address the little bit of weirdness there with apparently I've got a message on Discord. Or oh, that's just automated stuff. Don't mind me. Anyways, let's Yeah, so what I'm thinking is we might need to fall back to some slightly more tricky math once again. Let's see, let's have a look at a unit circle and just try and figure this out. Okay, so, God, oh man. This all looks like witchcraft to me, 'cause it is. Just kidding. But what we want is we want to be able to get the X and Y positions at different radians. So these are our radians here. 0 radians is 90 degrees, or, well, apparently 0 degrees in this unit circle, but anyways. Pi over 2 is 90, 3 pi over 2 is 270, and pi is 180 for radians. And that's radians to degrees, but we want, in a circle, we want radians to an X and Y, which is a little trickier. How do you do that again? That's what I don't remember. Is that... Do we have to make a triangle between... Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. We have to make a... yeah, okay. This might be pushing it a bit much for this stream. I think I might come back to this. I'm going to do a little bit more research on my own and come back to this one in the future, because me trying to figure this out on a live stream is probably just going to be embarrassing. Sorry, math. I'll come back another day. Oops, we want to specify number 6 as multi-touch shooting. Kirk git push origin kirk dash 6 dash angular dash aim dash n dash shoot. Alright, let's see. Check out master now, because in theory I'm feeling comfortable closing off this ticket because, or this issue rather, because quite frankly, it's done. It's not perfect. We've got things we need to refine, but the basic core MVP functionality is there. So yeah. That's funny. Why is there no thing for a pull request coming up? Weird. Do pull request, I guess? We want to merge angular aim and shoot into... Yeah, adds multi-touch shooting mechanic, that's what we want. Yeah. Finishes off number 6. Woot woot. So enthused. Actually, I'm stoked that we got this working. Don't let my monotone fool you. monotone, 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 monotone. Anyways. Let our Netlify automated checks do their thing again. Then we should be good to go. And yeah, look at that. Good to merge, so merge that in. And now I dare say we can delete the branch. It's cool that you can restore it too, but anyways. Branch deleted. And yeah, not too shabby. That's an hour and 21 minutes, and we've managed to get quite a lot done. Got the multi-touch working way smoother than I was expecting. So yeah, so guys, I think I'm going to end it there tonight. Thank you for those of you who tuned in and those of you who are interacting in the chat. That's awesome. I love to see that. And in tonight's stream, we managed to get multi-touch aim and shoot logic working for our game. So now we have a completely, what's the word? Completely, I don't know, all the controls you can do on the desktop, you can do on touchscreen now too. So that's a big win. That means our game is playable exactly as it is on desktop on mobile, and exactly as it is on mobile on desktop. So, great win. Have a good night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow night, in which we will be covering something else. I don't know. Just taking a look at the issues and... Oh, hold on. You know what? One thing we should do on a live stream, because this is kind of exciting and fun, is we're gonna close out the issue. So, angular aim and shoot logic enhancement number 6 opened 18 days ago is now all done. MVP version, lol. All done. Oops. Well, whatever. Close issue. There we go. Boom. Very exciting. Anyways, guys, thanks for those of you who tuned in, and I'll see you next time.